Hello, my name is Andrea. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing how to make a custom tray for Santa's milk and cookies this Christmas Eve. So let's get started. For this project, I'll be using this plastic rectangular tray from Michaels. And before we get started, make sure to give it a wash and wipe it down with some rubbing alcohol to make sure that the vinyl really sticks, and let it dry before adding any of the designs. I'm going into Cricut Design Space and I'm adding in a rectangle, and I'm making it the size of the bottom of my tray. I'm changing the box to white, and now I'm adding my text. First, I'm writing Dear Santa, and I'm changing it to the font that is actually called Dear Santa. Most of the fonts I use are usually from dafont.com, including this one. This font actually has a bunch of cute little icons in it. So for some of the letters, when you do a capital letter, it shows up as little gingerbread people, snowman, birds, all kinds of Christmas winter-themed things. So if I just want the letters, then I have to do everything lowercase for this font. Now I'm adding in this Santa hat SVG. I'm deleting the fluffy trim and also the pom-pom of the hat because the base of my tray is going to be white anyway, so I just want these parts to be clear. Now I'm adding in a holly SVG and placing that on the other side of the Dear Santa text. Next up, I'm writing Merry Christmas. And I'm changing this font to Christmas Bell. And at the bottom of the tray, I'm writing out Love Read, and you can obviously customize this to put whatever name you want. And I'm changing this font to Dear Santa. I want the Merry Christmas to be on 2 different lines, so I'm pressing Enter after Merry, then decreasing the line space between the 2 words. Next, I'm adding a circle on one side of my tray, and this is going to be where the cookies will go. I'm actually adding 2 circles, one slightly smaller than the first. Then I'm selecting both of them and going over to the bottom, clicking on Combine, then Subtract. And now I'm left with just the thin outline of the circle. And I'm duplicating this and putting the second one over on the left-hand side, which is where the milk will go. And I'm changing that circle to green, then adjusting some of the font colors, making Dear Santa and Merry Christmas both red. Next, I'm clicking on Images, then searching for a gingerbread cookie, sorting for the free images, and I'm inserting this one into my project and dragging it over inside one of the circles. And I'm changing the color to brown. For the other circle, I want a little carton of milk in there, so I'm searching for a free milk image, then adding that to my project. I want to customize this a little bit, so I'm zooming in to see better. Then I'm inserting a rectangle shape and covering up one of the lines on the front of this milk carton. Then I'm selecting both the milk carton and the rectangle and clicking on Combine, then Subtract again. And this is going to eliminate that line. Now I'm adding some text and writing out the word milk in the font Roboto. I'm selecting the word milk and the milk carton and clicking on Attach. Next up, I want to add a gift to this tray, so I'm searching for the word present in the images and then adding it to the tray and changing it to green. And I'm doing the same thing by searching for a Christmas tree. Now I'm going through and making sure that all the reds are the same red and all the greens are the same green, so they show up on the same cutting mat once I go to make the project. I clicked on Make It, and you can see the first page is a white mat with this rectangle and then these funny little tiny designs there, which I do not want to cut out. So I'm going back to the project and hiding the rectangle because that is just the representation of the tray that I don't actually want to cut out. And then I'm looking for those tiny little white lines, which is in the Christmas holly, and deleting them. The most important thing to remember for this project is to mirror everything before cutting it out. We're going to be sticking all of these vinyl decals on the bottom of the tray. So if you don't mirror them, then all of the text will be backwards. Here is what the Dear Santa text looks like after it's been cut out by the Cricut. Now I'm using transfer tape to transfer it onto the tray. The reason I'm doing everything on the bottom of the tray is because vinyl is not food safe and I want this tray to be able to be eaten off of. That's the whole point, to have the cookies on here and everything. I'm now weeding out all the elements of the Santa hat, including the black outline and the red part of the hat. First, I'm transferring the black outline onto the transfer tape. Then I'm placing that over top of the red section and transferring both of them onto the tape together. And now I'm continuing with all the different elements, transferring them onto the tray. One mistake I did make in all of this, which I would advise you not to do, is I overlapped some of the designs onto the ridged part of the tray. The very bottom is totally flat, but then there's kind of a raised bit that goes around the edge there. And some of them, including the Santa hat and one of the circles, I put over top of that raised edge. And really what I should have done is just kept everything on the flat surface. You'll see after, once I paint the tray, some of it kind of gets underneath a little bit just because of the raised up part there. So it's better just to keep everything on the flat part of the tray. Once all my designs are stuck onto the tray, now it's time to paint it. I'm taking painter's tape and putting it around the edges of the tray. I was really worried about getting spray paint on the front part of the tray, so I overlapped the tape a little bit onto the back just to make sure none of it would get on the front. But I would not advise doing this because, as I will show you, it did look really funny having an outer edge not painted, since it's pretty hard to get it totally, completely, perfectly even. So I went back in and added the painter's tape again, but this time only putting it on the front of the tray, nothing on the back. And this is what it looks like after I went over and spray painted those edges that previously were covered in tape. And I didn't show this, but I also added a coat of spray sealant over top of the spray paint. And this is the finished Santa tray ready for Christmas Eve that you can customize in so many different ways. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.